Week 11 of the fantasy basketball season. Here's a few centers I look to sell and trade this week. The first center, Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers. Embiid, he was on the sell list last week. And once again, I'm going to keep going back to the well to sell Embiid this season. On the year, 24.4 points a game, 7.9 rebounds, 3.8 assists, a block, 1.2 threes, and 45% from the field. In the last couple weeks, obviously he's played more games as Embiid, but he's been injured pretty much the whole season on and off. 26.8 points a game, 8.7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.2 steals, 1.7 threes, and 48% from the field for the big man term. So Embiid, he's not going to play back-to-backs, but even January 4th, he played in that game, and he sat out in last night's ball game versus Suns on January 6th. So the last few games for Embiid, December 30th at Portland, 37 points, 9 boards, 3 assists to 3, 57% from the field. Then January 1st, he missed that one. January 2nd at Golden State, 28 points, 14 boards, 2 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, a 3, 42% from the field. And January 4th at the Nets, a big game, 28 points, 12 boards, 6 assists, 2 threes, 50% from the field. Joel Embiid, no doubt about it, he puts up numbers, but you just don't know when Embiid's going to play and how long he could stay healthy for as well. Embiid, he's had injuries on and off now over the last few seasons, no doubt about it. We know he's been an MVP in this league. He's put up big numbers for fantasy owners in this Sixer team, but he's a player, even with that upside, I just can't trust missing all the games this season and the last couple seasons for Joel Embiid. So like I said, if he gives you 30, 40 games, I don't really think it's worth it. If he gives you half a season, even with big numbers in Embiid, and every game, you got to wonder if he's going to play or not. So right now, well, he's been healthy for the most part, even though he's missed now Embiid 2 out of 4 games. He's a sell-high player this week because, like I said, at any time he could go down and miss multiple weeks or even miss the season. So this week, if you don't want to deal with the Embiid headache, and his numbers have been great of late, he's a sell-high center this week. The next center, Goga Batiste of the Orlando Magic. Mo Wagner's out for the season for this Orlando Magic team, but Wendell Carter, he's played his way back into shape over the last couple weeks, and he's getting good minutes off the bench as the backup center. And I think Batiste, he's just playing over his head a little bit as well. On the year, 9.9 points a game, 8.5 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 1.6 blocks, 62% from the field. In the last couple weeks, 11.3 points a game, 10.3 boards, 4.3 assists, 1.6 steals, 1.6 blocks, and 54% from the field. So Batiste, no doubt about it, he's having a breakout year, re-signed in free agency in the offseason with this Orlando Magic team, and he's playing good basketball and put up numbers, rebounding, and even a good passer as well at the center position. But like I said, with Wendell Carter playing better, and obviously he was the big piece in the Nikola Vukovic deal a few years ago, I think Carter's going to eat into the playing time even with Wagner out. And we've seen the last couple games, he's only maxing out at about 30 minutes at most. January 3rd at the Raptors, 11 points, 13 boards, 7 assists, a steal, 3 blocks, 33% from the field. January 5th versus Jazz, 9 points, 11 boards, 4 assists, a steal, a 3, 44% from the field. And January 6th at the Knicks, 6 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 60% from the field. So rebounding and shot blocking, he's going to bring fantasy owners, no doubt about it, is with these. But I just don't believe his numbers are going to be this elite as the season goes on, and there's more film on him, and teams got to pay attention to him more. I know, and also as well with Banchero returning sooner than later to this lineup, Jalen Suggs possibly soon as well, and Franz Wagner, his numbers are just going to drop off, and he's not going to really be a fantasy option, and just a big man for the Magic than fantasy basketball once those players return. So right now, B-Daz, I think, is a sell-high player this week. In the third and final center, I look at selling highs. Jakob Poeltl of the Toronto Raptors. So Poeltl, it's been a solid season for him, but we know this Raptor team's in rebuild mode, and there's a possibility Poeltl could get traded at the NBA trade deadline to a contender. On the season, 15.4 points a game, 10.7 boards, 2.6 assists, 1.2 steals, 1.3 blocks, and 60% from the field. In the last couple weeks, 14.3 points a game, 8.5 boards, 2 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.8 blocks, and 73% from the field. So his field goal percentage the last 2 weeks has been up there, but the points and rebounding has gone down a little bit. And like I said, if Poeltl does get traded to a contender, those numbers will drop off as well. January 1st versus the Nets, 12 points, 9 boards, 2 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, 60% from the field. January 3rd, a big game versus the Magic, 25 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, a steal, a block, 91% from the field. In January 6th versus the Bucks, 12 points, 7 boards, an assist, a steal, a block, 66% from the field. So more of that 12.7 board type of game I believe Poeltl could get as the year goes on. So I think he's playing over his head a little bit. I know this Raptor team, they're banged up as well with injuries on and off all season long. But if Poeltl does get traded to a contender, I believe the numbers are going to drop. And he hasn't been much of a scorer in his NBA career. So I know this season he's taken the next step from 11.1 points a game to 15.4. But I don't know if it keeps up. And like I said, if he does get dealt, those numbers will drop off. So that's a few centers I look to sell and trade for week 11 of the fantasy basketball season.